Guys, welcome back. It is another day, another interesting day. It's been a little bit of a sad one around here.
Yeah, I thought first of all, I think we ought to talk about what we're doing. We've done several episodes, and we haven't really given anybody an idea. We've had more people who have probably picked up and watched up all of these. Like, what are you guys doing?
Well, that's true.
And so I think that we ought to tell people what we're doing.
Okay, we
So,
are coming in for the next 100 days or so. Well, not 100 left, but to do just little short 10 to 12 minute homeschool family bites. So just little thoughts for your family in that day, something to meditate on, maybe a little nugget, something that we've learned or experienced or the Lord has taught us that we wanted to pass on.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be based around a word, and we have how many episodes now? Do
This
you know?
is 9.
This is number 9, and so we have like one left. And one of the reasons why we decided to do this was because most of the events have been canceled. Actually, we have one more that we're trying to plan here in Greenville, South Carolina, on August 7th. But and that's coming together really well. But the other events have been canceled, and so we're not going to be able to see a lot of you personally. And so we wanted to use this to try to give you some encouragement and give you a representation of Teach Them Diligently and what we're about. And so these are conversational. And so, like you and I today, we're wearing our Saturday best.
Yes, cleaning house and working on the deck.
I'm in a hat, and I'm all painted up, and I'm working on the deck. But we just wanted to pop in, and these are not real well planned, to be honest with you. We talk about the word that we want to talk about, and we kind of pick out a few little things we want to hit on, but it is truly live and conversational. So if we fumble around a little bit, we have an excuse, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but you don't fumble around. I do.
I do sometimes.
Okay. So I guess you were getting back to, we had some really rough news this morning or today, and that is...
it's just been rough. I think everybody would understand. It's just nothing's right now.
So
everything's a little bit rough.
Yes, and so every year kids go to camp, and it's been actually a great tool for us in parenting and discipling our kids. And this is the first year that they won't be able to go to camp. We just got word today that the camp has been canceled for the rest of the summer. They were supposed to go on Monday, and our daughter is pretty disappointed. And so and we've kind of taken it hard ourselves because we know that they're disappointed, and we want our kids to be there. And it's not the first time that we've had bad news over the last week. I mean, there's been all kinds of stuff that has happened, and I think that we need to kind of come back to a word that's actually tied to what we did yesterday, which yesterday we did trust. Today we're going to do believe.
Yep.
And we're going to go back to Jesus calming the storm, which is in 3 of the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And I think you guys know the story well. Just to give you a really quick synopsis, they're on the Sea of Galilee, and they're on a boat, and the storm comes up, and the disciples are very upset. They're freaking out. They're bailing the water out, and Jesus Christ is asleep in the back of the boat. And the disciples are incredulous that Jesus Christ is sleeping, and they ask him, "Do you care that we perish?" And he gets up. Jesus Christ gets up, and he calms the storm with just a word. And they are amazed by what he has done and the fact that he has control over the nature and the element. And it's more of an illustration for them, the disciples, of who Jesus Christ really is. And I think, again, you guys know this story well. If you don't, you can just go right into the Gospels. You can read it. And the question that I always, when I look at this story, is, did Jesus Christ know what was going to happen when he asked, or he led the disciples to the boat and pushed off the dock? They pushed off from shore. Jesus Christ had to have known what was going to happen.
He knows everything.
He knows everything, and I think that that's who he is. He knew that they were going to be entering that storm. And I think as well, He knew what the reaction of the disciples were going to be. He knew what he was going to, I mean, he knew all of what was going to happen. And when we were in Israel, we actually asked the tour guide about this story. And because we were in the Sea of Galilee, we were in a boat, and we asked him, they say that the storms come up really fast on the Sea of Galilee. And is that true? And he started actually going through the wind currents coming off the Mediterranean Sea and coming up the valley, and how it combines with the warmer air coming off the desert. And he was pointing. It was really kind of a neat experience. And he was pointing. The cold air comes up this valley, and the warm air comes off the desert, and they collide, and you could have a storm within no time. And he started going through that, and we were like, wow, okay. And it was just kind of this confirmation. You believed it, that it actually happened, but it was this confirmation.
And we're here. Kind of the science behind it.
Yeah.
So, it makes it a little clearer, but it's actually clear, like you said.
Absolutely. So, that when you talk about what you believe, and when you talk about the word believe, and you are going through a really difficult time, and it could be something like camp getting canceled, or it could be losing a job, or it could be, it could be anything. It could be losing a loved one. It could be a dog dying, having a dog to sleep. It could be anything. I think we have that initial response of just great sadness and even panic. And I don't think that's unnatural.
No, it's human.
It's human. I wouldn't even necessarily call that initial response wrong. But at some point, you have to get to this level where you go, what do I believe? And I think that's really the question behind every challenge and every circumstance that you're in, is there's kind of this whisper behind it of, what do you believe? What do you believe? What do you believe? And when you read the Psalms, and you read about what happened with David and Saul, and you read about what happened with the priest, and you read about difficulties that he's dealing with, you even read about David and Goliath, you get a good idea of what David believed while he was going through those difficulties. And he almost has this approach, what is God doing for me, rather than what is God doing to me? And it's, what does God want me to learn as I'm going through this? And I think that's one thing that you need to keep in mind as you're going through this, is that when you go through these difficulties, again, they get in the boat, Jesus Christ knows what's happening. He leads them into the storm. He didn't lead them into the storm to wipe them out and remove them from the face of the earth. He brought them into the storm to show them who he was. And so I think that is a really good lesson when you're going through, especially, the situation that we're going through right now. Everybody's talking about COVID. Everybody's talking about the pandemic. They're talking about, getting upset about the masks, and they're getting upset about the riots, and they're getting upset about the state of the country and whether or not Trump's going to win in the White. All of this stuff. And jobs. And behind all of that, there's this question that is kind of being reiterated, and it's, what do you believe about Jesus Christ?
Yeah, we talked briefly yesterday about the fact that it's very easy to say that we love Jesus. It's easy to give lip service that we trust Jesus. But when the times are hard, do you live like you believe in Jesus? Do you live like you believe that he is the one that's in control? And how are you modeling that for your children? These are amazing opportunities for conversation with your children to strengthen their faith, even as they see you struggling with yours. Because you have to bring those thoughts captive. You have to rehearse what you know to be true about God. You have to make sure you're passing all of that on. This is prime real estate for discipleship. Yeah. But only if you are looking to see who is Jesus through this? Who is God? What is he doing for us through these dark, very upsetting, nothing right in the world times?
Absolutely. And I think whenever I talk like this, I'm always a little nervous that I feel like I'm beating somebody up on the other side, because maybe they've overreacted about a certain circumstance, and they've gotten really upset, and they've kind of lost their way. And I don't think that's what the goal is at all in this. And I just want to kind of reiterate about that real quick, because it's not about messing up, because we all fail and we all mess up. You recover after that. And so it's not so much that initial reaction. It is, what are you going to do right after that? When the dust settles and you get through this, panic stage, what are you going to do? Are you going to dwell on just how bad things are and complain about it and call up your friends and start huddling together and talk about how horrible things are? Or are you going to start thinking about, what does Jesus Christ want me to learn through this?
Yeah. And how am I pass that on?
And
Is
how
that our primary mission?
I'm going to pass this on, and what am I going to teach my kids about this?
Yep.
So.
Yep. So that's our encouragement for you all today. I hope that you'll just really start rehearsing what you believe and why you believe it, and allow God to grow your family through this side down, topsy, everything wrong in the world. Bye.